All right, let's see if I got going. No, shit, I'm start recording. Ah, all right. Hey guys, welcome to Heart Academy for the GEC Goodwill Excel Center Pre-Algebra course. I'm Mrs. Hart. I'm so glad to have met everyone today. I hope I didn't drill and kill you too much. And if I did, get over it and let's roll. All right, so like I said, what I'm going to do is help with the homework, and this is going to be your video review. So if you sign into the Google Classroom, let me turn this mic off. You know how to jam to it for a few seconds. Uh-oh. Hold on. All right. So what we got going on? All right. So remember, in the Google Classroom, this is why it's going to be such an awesome tool for you, because once this posts, you'll get a notification saying that I posted something, and bam, you'll know every single time, right? You also might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kelly Blair Hart, and I call my videos Heart Academy because why not? All right. So in the Google Classroom, here you go. Remember, the stream is just like the Facebook wall, right? Go under classwork. Remember, if you're on your phone, it's probably all listed down here. Go under classwork. This is what we have. And today's the syllabus. There it is. And most of you signed it during class. And if you didn't, you'll get it tomorrow, showing up tomorrow. Or you can also, I'm going to show you how to do everything online, and you can sign electronically and digitally and send it to me that way. We'll get to that more later. What I am so proud about is how hard everybody worked today in order to understand integers, okay? So, in order to understand integers and how this math class is going to flow, if you stay with me, trust and believe you'll be ready for Algebra 1 in 8 weeks. I can get you ready in 8 weeks, but you got to be able to put the work in. So, if you're going to complain about, oh, this is a lot of work, get over it. Or this is not the class for you. Remember, 8 weeks, and typically this course should be a year-long course. Let's keep that in mind, okay? All right, here we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the homework review, which is, what do we do? Here we go. Let me open it up. I'm going to use my Kami app. Kami is the app I'm going to show you how to work in order to submit assignments electronically. So this is what the app looks like when you open up any assignment. You can open up this way. It allows you to write on it and submit it right away. But we'll get to that part later, okay? Okay, so for the homework part, we skipped all this, and I'll be going through that tomorrow because, now that my board works, I can do a whole lot of things a lot quicker instead of going through tons and tons of paper. But for homework, what I gave you was this section right here, the multiplying and dividing integers, right? Now, you know, we didn't practice multiplying and dividing in class, because I was focused on the adding and subtracting, which is harder because the rules are harder. But also be aware too, in the Google Classroom, let me go back to that for a second, okay? And just also like what I put in your folder, you see all these packets, and these are resources that we're going to be using through our time together for the 8 weeks. And if you go down here, these are even more resources. Look at this. There's a multiplication chart, same one I gave you in the packet. You can download it and put it in your phone, okay? Whoever's trying to turn in a multiplication chart, you don't have to. And I'll talk more about the Google Classroom, how to submit things. Because if you get a notification on your phone, right, ignore it and delete it. Because if you hit turn in, you're turning a blank piece of paper, okay? But I'll talk more about that and make sure everyone's online with that. And there's no need to turn in a multiplication chart. It's just letting you know that I posted that. Place value chart, and oh my goodness, look at this. Bam! The integer rules that I gave you today, right? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, right? So we have this in front of you, easy to do, okay? Try not to use a calculator. The calculator knows how to do the work. The question is, do you, okay? If you put it in a calculator, yeah, it's going to spit out the right answer. If you Google it or research it, it's going to spit out the right answer. But that's not the point. The point is making sure that you understand the rules and how to get to the right answer without using a calculator or any type of electronic help. And that means memory. This is the reason why I gave just the multiplication and division part for homework, because the multiplication and division rules are way easier than the adding and subtracting like I was getting to you, okay? For instance, you see this, right? When you have a positive number times a positive number, like 8 times 2, just multiply. Answer is positive, right? A negative times a negative, right? Just multiply. Answer is positive. Anytime you mix a negative and a positive, or a positive and a negative, like negative 7 times 3 equals negative 21, or 4 times negative 6. You see that? When I'm mixing a negative and a positive, or a positive and a negative, the answer will always be negative. Negative. Did I say negative? No. Just multiply. So the only time you should have a negative answer when you're multiplying or dividing, doesn't matter, the rules apply for dividing too, right? The only time you should have a negative answer is when you're mixing the two, positive and negative. In class, I gave the metaphor example of using polar opposite magnets. You know how you put magnets a certain way and they won't stick together, they repel from each other? Think of it that way, okay? If it was two positive ends of a magnet, sticks, positive. And if it's two negative ends of a magnet, they still stick. Answer is positive, right? And then if you try to mix them, a negative and positive end or a positive and negative end, like batteries, no charge. So answer should be negative, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and roll through these, and I'm going to show you some examples of it, and just that you're able to do the questions by yourself. And I'm going to show you the example of it by using the multiplication chart instead of a calculator. That's important, okay? Very, very important. The calculator will show you everything. You need to use your brain more. So that means I'm going to go ahead and download the calculator. So let's see. Okay, let me bring up my calculator. Here's this page. I bring up, not my calculator, you know what I meant. I meant the multiplication chart. Here we go. This will work beautiful. All right. Here we go. Now, just so you remember, right? Again, it's telling you the rules like right up here. Well, I like writing them my way. And so when I write it my way, what I'm saying is this, you know, a positive times a positive number, answer is positive, just multiply. A negative times a negative number, right? Answer is still positive, just multiply the two numbers, or divide, or divide, or divide, right? Or then, if I have negative and a positive, or positive times a negative, doesn't matter which one's first, the answer is negative. There's my G, okay? Just multiply, or divide. So again, the only time you have a negative answer is when you have a positive and negative put together. So now that you know that the rules are completely easy, I bet most of us will probably struggle with, okay, actual multiplication or division facts. And that is why I pulled up the calculator. Multiplication chart. All right, here we go. I'm tired, need to go home. So now multiplying integers, 9 times 3. If you don't know what 9 times 3 is, right, go ahead and use a multiplication chart. But first you should be able to tell me if this answer is going to be positive or negative without even having to know what 9 times 3 is. This is what I mean. So we're taking a look at the answer, right? All right. So, and you're doing 9 times 3, okay? But it's a negative 9 times a negative 3. So you have a negative times a negative. And what does a negative times a negative equal? Okay? Remember, negative times a negative, if you're looking on your chart, look at that. Negative times a negative, the answer is going to be a positive. Negative times a negative, answer is positive. So I automatically know that my answer for this is going to be a positive. So all I have to do is figure out what 9 times 3 is. Don't know? Use that multiplication chart that I give you. And I like to go this way. Some people go down this way. I don't understand why. So I'm going to go into my 9 columns, and I'm going to go over to the 3, which would be here. So 9 times 3, 27. Okay? That's how we're going to use a chart. You guys know how to use a multiplication chart, so we're rolling on. 9 times 3, and we know the answer should be a positive 27. Let's move on. This, right, is saying 8 times a negative 9. Anytime you see a number, right, outside of parentheses, okay, it could have been like this too. It doesn't matter that there's a negative sign in front of it. It means multiply. Okay, so again, remember, all of these are different examples of multiplying numbers. Some of them just might look different than others. But remember, all of these, you're just multiplying the numbers together. I like this sheet because it shows you different ways that we write multiplication, especially as we move into algebra. And this is that's the reason for the class. I bet you the iReady program can't do that. So now, here we go. So I have 8 times 9. Let's see, 9 times 8 is 72. So it's going to be a positive or a negative 72. I have a positive times a negative. Remember, anytime you have a positive times a negative, your answer will be negative. So I'm going to have a negative 72 as my answer. And, you know, you can use a multiplication chart. Don't remember how to use a multiplication chart? I did 9 times 8. Or which number was first? I tend to go whatever number's first. It was 8. 8 times 9. So I'm going to go down this way to the 8. I'm going to go over to the 9. There's the 72. And I know my answer again is a negative 72 because I have a positive times a negative. Looking at that multiplication chart, remember, a positive times a negative, answer is negative. Or negative times positive, answer is still negative. Got it? Rolling on. I know you probably figure out that this is easy enough, but I'm going to do a few more examples. Look at this, another way of saying multiply. Remember the rule, if you see a number outside of parentheses, it means multiply. 7 times 4. Okay, now remember I told you, just calculate. I struggle with my facts. I can show you how to do some, algebra and trigonometry, but, I just need help with my multiplication facts and even like things like adding and subtracting. And you'll get to see this as we go through the semester over the next 8 weeks, okay? So I'm going to figure out, what am I looking for? 7 times 4, or 4 times 7, 4. Go over 2 to 7. Oh, that's 28. One of these years I'm going to remember that. Such a math teacher. So I have 4 times a 7, and that gave me 28. Again, is my answer positive or negative 28? You see this? You have a negative times a negative. So the answer is going to be a positive 28, right? So I'm going to do, let's see, 11 times 2. By the way, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that works. Oh, look at that. Even my writing becomes bigger. Matches it. Love it. Can't beat it. So look at this, right? So another way of writing multiplications is by using dots. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, you see this? It says 11, then it gave us a dot, right, times a negative 2. Dots in algebra and pre-algebra mean multiply. It's not a period, okay? So 11 times a negative 2 is what we're really looking at. All right, so 11 times a negative 22. First, 11 times 2 is 22, and it's going to be a negative 22 because I have a positive times a negative right here, okay? Now I have a negative 5 times 9. 9 times 5 is 54. Right? Nope. 45. There it is. 5 times 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, notice I did. What is 9 times 5? 9. Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. What was I saying? Oh, I'm tired. Negative 5 times 9 is 45, and it's going to be a negative because I have a positive times a negative. Okay, so, and you can now complete this set on your own. Voila, all right? Those of you that were complaining about, oh my God, there's homework. Really? Really? This is all you have to do, all right? Get over it, because you are going to be math masters by the time I'm done with you, okay? All right. Now, you can do this, or you can do 50 billion I-ready packets, which you want, okay? So now I have my division. Now, how to do division without the calculator? I know we do not want to do long division in here. We want to anyway. But right now I want you to use your multiplication chart to figure out division, not a calculator or your phone. I will not allow you to use your phone or a calculator for multiplying and dividing in class when we're doing just integers, because I want you to be able to figure out by yourself, okay, without using that resource. And what I mean by yourself is you can just have this resource, which is the multiplication chart. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the 63 divided by 7 is, right? If you're using a multiplication chart, and look at this large multiplication chart that I gave you, all right? So I'm going to do 7. The easiest way to do this is take the smallest number, which is, what was it again? I already forgot. 7. And I'm going to look for a 63. All right, so I'm going to go in my 7th column of my multiplication chart straight across until I get to a 63, like this. Go into the 7th column until you get to the 63. There it is. So my answer will be 9, okay? So there it is right there. So you know that your answer is going to be 9 for this one. And is it going to be a positive or a negative 9? I don't know, because I can't see what's underneath it anymore. There it is. They're both positive numbers. So that means that my answer is going to be also positive, right? So that's going to be a positive 9 for this answer right here. Got it? Did you see how I use that multiplication chart to figure out how many times 7 will go to 63? Okay, exactly. Now, I will be showing you how to do long division by hand. We're going to warm up with that every day. If you're a grown-up, if you're an adult, you should know how to divide and multiply, okay, without using the calculator, even without using a multiplication chart, but we'll work our way up there, right? Don't be embarrassed if you don't know how to multiply or divide. It's cool. I'm going to help you, okay? So next, let's do 9 divided by 3. Now look at this. This is a negative 9 divided by a negative 3. Remember, negative times a negative, or divided by, negative divided by negative, same thing. Your answer is going to be what? I hope you said positive, okay? How many times will 3 go into 9, or 9 divided by 3? Again, take your smallest number, which is going to be the 3, right? And look for the 9. Smallest number was 3, looking for the 9. Go straight up to the sunshine. My answer is 3. There you go. And remember, it's going to stay positive. All right. Remember, this is another way of writing division. You see this, and it looks like a fraction sideways, right? It says 90 divided by 10, right? Here's an announcement. Fractions are nothing but division problems. Okay? This means the same thing as that. Okay? It also means the same thing as a ratio, which I'll just get into that later. They're the same thing. So you just tilt it sideways. So all of this is the same. So this is saying the same thing as that. It's fractions or division, or is division. Okay? Trust me. All right. So when you see the fraction bar that's even or sideways, you know that it means division. Here we go. So I'm going to figure out how many times is 10 going to 90. If you're not sure, right, go to your smallest number, which was 10, and I'm going all the way over to 90. You see that my answer is 9. Now, is this going to be a positive or a negative? I have a positive divided by a positive, so I'm going to get a positive 9 for my answer. Look at this one, 8 divided by 8. Take your smallest number. Oh my God, they're both the same. So go 8 and 8 in your multiplication chart, right? 8 going over to 8. 8. There you go. 8 times 8, 64. I didn't know that. This is why I still use a chart. I'm not ashamed. All right, here we go. So I know that this is going to be a 64. Is it going to be a positive or negative 64? Negative, because a negative divided by a positive, answer is negative, right? All right, so now we have a negative 42 divided by 7. Again, take your smallest number, looking at the chart, 7, find the biggest number, 42. You know our answer is going to be 6, right? Okay, so I'm going to write my 6 right here. Is it positive or negative 6? Answer should be negative, okay? So that is it, my friends. These two sections for homework, you're going to do these by yourself, right? Don't worry about the adding or subtracting. We're going to practice more of that tomorrow. I got you back. And I'm hoping to see you guys tomorrow, and even more people possibly. But don't worry, me, you, together, and Brian ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Peace out.